We've had a wonderful day one and a nice start to day two. It's truly an honor to be able to speak at the main stage here at Cypher. When we started NxtGen, I mean, it's not right for me to say we, but when the management founded NxtGen, there was a thought process to build sovereign clouds in the country and create an alternative where value could truly be left in the hands of our customers and not try to misuse that opportunity of being able to provide an infrastructure service which is quite capex intensive. And recently, Raj, the CEO, MD, and I had a chance to do a podcast on AIM. And he actually said something very interesting which I want to recall. So he said that for the last 12 years, we've been helping large government organizations, enterprises realize a lot of value by managing their infrastructure for them, securing their infrastructure for them, and also rescuing most of them from hyperscalers. A lot of tech organizations end up doing fundraisers to pay for their cloud bills, and we are proud that that's not the case with us. So he said that till now we've been impacting the enterprise, and his aspiration for the next decade at NxtGen is how do we impact the citizens of the country. And that actually took me aback, and I felt, wow, like what we are doing with M is the next decade of aspiration for NxtGen, and it's driven by creating impact for all citizens in the country. So I take a lot of pride and honor in that. So coming to M, which is the topic of today's discussion, it is our Agentic AI ecosystem, which you've seen, you've experienced, you've seen at the booth, and there have been sessions by Raj and Abhishek. But there is a mission which we are after, and it's very principled, and I wanted to set that as a precedence before we get started and go a little bit deeper. So the first important thing taking from our cloud principles was that we wanted to ensure that we have a sovereign alternative to all the proprietary closed models that are there. Every time, we like it or not, we use ChatGPT, Perplexity, any of these models that are famous in the world, we are unfortunately compromising our digital destiny of India because we are sending data outside, right? So the first thing we thought is there a way where you can make a sovereign alternative and make it fast? And the beauty about open source technology is that its prima facie value delivery is sovereignty. Open source allows you to take models, deploy it, localize that data, apply the local data norms, and ensure that it is sovereign. So we take a lot of pride that M is sovereign, and it is sovereign because of open source technology. Second thing we wanted to do was, how do you make AI meaningful? I know we've had 3-4 years of a lot of hype with generative AI, but to the citizen, to the end consumer, and to enterprises, how do we make it meaningful beyond generating text to tell my boss that I'm running late, or when my engineers tell me that they're running a little bit late for a sprint, I get a very professional email these days because it's generated by one of these AI models. How do we make it more than that? That was the second principle which we kept before creating M, sorry. Then we realized that there is a beautiful open source technology that has come out called Agentic AI, another keyword in the industry. We decided that that could be the foundational technology and framework that allows us to really do something meaningful out of generative AI technology. So we created an open, very extensible framework that supports both API integration and MCP compatibility. So what this does really is that people with their existing websites, applications that are creating services can very easily integrate with them with very minimal effort. Once this happens, you already have a mature AI-augmented experience through the generative AI platform that we have. Now, all this sounds great, but if there is not meaningful partnerships, meaningful integrations, then M really cannot do those things which make it useful for you beyond just text generation. So we are very proud. You would have seen Raj on day one, the people who were here on day one. He actually brought on Anil Porter, and we spoke about how ITQ is partnering with us They actually manage the global travel inventory of airlines, hotels. So we are trying to build something very, very special with them in the travel industry. But it doesn't end there. We have many conversations with union ministries, PSUs, large enterprises, and of course, we want to augment citizen services. So it's a very principled and aspirational approach, and we are very, very proud and excited to be embarking on that journey with them. Little bit deeper from a technology standpoint is that obviously it runs on a massive cluster of H200s. We've built a very high-performance cluster at NxtGen. We're very proud of that. And it's built for population scale concurrency, which means that we are ready today to actually serve the nation. The beauty of an agentic platform like we have built is that we can adapt to the growth that is there in the open source community, which means that today we are using the state-of-the-art reasoning model to answer all reasoning questions on M, which any of you ask. But tomorrow, the open source community can serve us with a new one, and then we just plug that in. So one core component of M is that there is a large reasoning model to actually answer queries, complex queries, mathematical queries, or reasoning-based tasks. We actually have a trillion parameter coding model as an agent as well. So what M does is that the moment you ask a query, it decides which one of its models to use to answer your question. So if any of you are engineers out there and you go to M and say, hey, make me this API, make me this web page, anything, it will actually go and route it to the trillion parameter coding model, which is very, very exciting. And by saying trillion parameter, there's only one, so most of you might have guessed which one it is. There is also a state-of-the-art mixture of expert model, which we use as a router to actually make this decision as to which tool or which model to call. So this kind of creates the broad framework of models that are behind M that actually power the rest of the integrations. This is a look at the architecture of M. And what I'd like to call out is whether it is the models, whether it is the speech microservices, whether it is the routing, and whether it is the tool registry, everything is open source, and it is put together by our engineering team. So we have the advantage of building this along with the open source community and scaling it beyond. Abhishek did a great job going through the architecture, so I'm not going to bore you with it now. One more thing which I want to call out, which is very important, is that M is not just your standalone platform or model alternative to ChatGPT, Perplexity, which you can be proud of, by the way, and say that you really have something in India that is already at par. And I'm not afraid to say it on the stage today. I want you all to try it as well. But M has a family. M has a large family of various different applications and agentic use cases, which actually create more application out of this technology. Whether it is chat collaboration in an enterprise, where you have integrated intelligence with mChat, whether it is business agents that actually do tasks on your behalf, whether it's customer service, marketing and sales, IT support, completely voice-based and integrated into your enterprise systems to raise tickets or perform actions. Whether it is mVault, which is actually a cloud drive, where you can store and share files, but we actually vectorize all of the files that you upload and create them in a format where you can readily interact with your files with AI. You build an AI knowledge base with your cloud drive. So you have files you can share, and you have intelligence where you talk to your files, compare files, and extract insights from it right away. We've built domain-adapted models for finance and corporate legal. Corporate legal is coming soon. Finance is here already. You can test it at our booth. But we took lakhs and lakhs of data relevant to these topics and actually did lots of pre-training. It's called domain-adaptive pre-training, a little bit of fine-tuning, and also used graph rack technologies to build a very robust, supercharged assistant for finance and corporate legal professionals. Now, if you are an independent professional, you can use it, or your departments within your enterprises can use it. We've built a cool hiring product that actually uses GenAI to screen, score the resume, and also ask relevant questions to ensure that you have a screening done, and then you interview only the right people. And we also have M for coding. I want to call out one point for M for coding, which stayed with me so much because I take care of the product and engineering here at NxtGen, is that we've been able to reduce our engineering sprint timelines by 50%. We do it 50% quicker because we have M for coding. M for coding actually automates the entire coding process and augments it down just to English-based prompts. So now you have a sophisticated engineer who understands technology. They can use M for coding with natural language and ask for the specific tasks. And it doesn't just output a snippet of code, it can actually control your coding editor. So it fits right into your VS Code, and we are also making a CLI version as well. So in M for coding, you also have an alternative in India, which is sovereign to Claude and the other Claude Code and the other coding tools that are out there. So what gives us pride is that with open source, with solid infrastructure, we are able to make such powerful, impactful products that are born and bred in India for the Indian market and that are truly powerful in Agentic. And all of these are functioning. You should come to our booth and check it out. There are many more coming. This is just the start. You won't believe it, but this is just the matter of the last year or so. Before that, we spent a lot of time with our engineering team upskilling them, giving them access to high-power GPU infrastructure. But there's lots more coming, and you should keep your eyes out. So it would be fun if we saw some of them on stage. So that's why Abhisyant, who leads our AI engineering, he's our principal engineer of AI, he's going to help me demonstrate some of them for you guys. Would you like to see them? Yes. Super. So we are going to be picking 3 because of time. We're going to be showing you something cool on M, not just text generation, because I told you that. And we're going to be seeing M for finance, and we're going to be seeing M Vault. So let's swap to the demo. Perfect. So here's the interface of M. Okay, it's an open web UI interface. So we don't want to show you generating text and all that. That's very basic. We have a cloud business. So we want to show you how agentically we've created a service for our customers to provision virtual machines. We are going to use M with my voice right now in front of you to create a virtual machine on our cloud platform called Speed Cloud. Let's do it. Hi, can I provision a virtual machine, please?
I'd be happy to help you provision a virtual machine on Speed Cloud by NxtGen. Let's get started. First, we need to choose a configuration for your virtual machine. We have 4 options: small with 2 cores, 4 GB RAM and 20 GB storage, medium with 4 cores, 8 GB RAM and 40 GB storage, large with 8 cores, 16 GB RAM and 80 GB storage, or extra large with 16 cores, 32 GB RAM, and 160 GB storage. Which configuration would you like to choose? Please type the number of your preferred configuration.
Maybe let's go with medium, please.
You've chosen the
You can
medium
shout out
configuration.
answers while it's talking,
Next,
if you want me to
we
choose
need to
one.
select an operating system for your virtual machine. We offer Debian, Ubuntu Server, Alma Linux, OpenSUSE, Microsoft Windows, Red Hat, CentOS, and Rocky Linux. Which operating system would you like to install?
OK, we'll choose Red Hat, please.
You've chosen Red Hat as your operating system. Red Hat versions available are 8.0 and 9.3. What version of Red Hat would you like to install?
Can you give me whatever is the latest version out of the 2?
You've chosen Red Hat as your operating system, and the latest version available is 9.3. You've selected the medium configuration. Now, we need to decide on the public IP for your virtual machine. Having a public IP allows your virtual machine to be accessible from the internet. Do you need a public IP for your virtual machine? Please respond with yes or no.
Yes, please.
You've chosen to have a public IP for your virtual machine. Now, we need to decide on the bandwidth for your virtual machine. You can choose any positive number between 1 and 1000 megabits per second. What bandwidth would you like to allocate?
10 megabits per second works for me, please.
You've chosen the medium configuration with Red Hat 9.3, a public IP, and 10 megabits per second bandwidth. Is this correct? Please confirm.
Yes, that's absolutely correct.
SpeedCloud VM provisioning started. Your virtual machine request on SpeedCloud by NxtGen has been queued for provisioning. The estimated setup time is just a few seconds, and instance provision is currently in progress.
The first
Your
line
SpeedCloud
that you see
VM
is the VM being
configuration
provisioned on our
includes medium
SpeedCloud
setup
portal.
with 10 megabits per second bandwidth.
This is
and a
happening
public
real
IP
time with
address.
voice and
You can
Agentic AI.
monitor
Pause
your
that.
SpeedCloud VM
This is happening real time with voice and Agentic AI connecting to the APIs of our cloud management portal. In just a second, our systems engineering team has a good SLA. The VM is already up. If we see some of the details, I chose the medium configuration, which is 4 vCPUs, 8 GB RAM, and I chose bandwidth of 10 Mbps. I chose the Red Hat 9.3 OS, which you can see over here. And I chose a public IP, that is my assigned public IP. It got every single information absolutely accurate just with my voice, okay? So M can do a lot more than just generate voice and text, okay? Let's go to the next one, okay? Let's look at mVault for a second here. So I told you this is like your file sync and share, like your enterprise cloud where you can keep all your documents, right? So it does a great job with that. You know, you can use it like your vault where you back up all your files. But imagine it being intelligent, right? Let's say we just go to one of the documents, and it works for all file types, right? It works for PDF, Excel, PPT, anything, and we just hit summarize. Our system, in a matter of a second, will generate the entire summary of the document, right? And it is getting it from Excel. It's not a PDF document. It is giving us what rows, what is the contextual information, and so on and so forth, right? But this is okay. It's able to do it. We've extracted it quickly in the background, and we've also been able to summarize. We have actually created an entire conversational interface on top of all of your documents. Imagine an LLM, but built on top of all your data and documents, right? So I had uploaded an RFP document before because I sometimes, with my team, work on RFP proposals. So maybe, Abhishek, we can ask something like from the RFP document, without me even specifying what the document really is, can you tell me what are the important dates I need to remember from that? So we're going to ask it that, and let's see if it identifies the document and gets me the answer from that document. So it has identified the document. As you can see, it's shifted its focus to that file is the RFP file, which we had put. So it's gotten us some important dates. Now, one important thing in RFPs is the eligibility criteria if you want to actually, participate. So let's find out, can you tell me about the eligibility criteria for me to participate in this RFP? Now, neither you nor I have seen this document till now, but we're getting these insights so easily, right? So perfect. Now, mVault is going to actually tell us, looking at the document, what is the eligibility criteria? And there you go. It's telling us from the annex what are the various different pieces that we need to look at from an eligibility criteria standpoint. So it's talking about ISO compliance. It's talking about empanelment with government bodies. It's talking about having an, ooh, okay. Is that like my time? Okay. It's talking about having an annual turnover. So these are all criteria. So lastly, let's just quickly ask it, okay, can you give me some of the, can you give me an approach note to respond to this RFP? I'll use this like a template to then create my RFP response, but AI can just tell me what are the important things I need to respond and create as a solution, right? So we're just going to ask AI itself to tell us, M itself to tell us, can you create the approach for this? Okay, it says it didn't find it relevant. Why don't you try again? Yeah. Should work. Okay. Oops. Sometimes it has performance issues. That's okay. Fine. So we can quickly go to M for finance, but you get the gist. We can actually, if you can quickly head back and select the document specifically and ask again, we can quickly do that. Yeah. And just say, can you create an approach note for me to respond to this RFP? Generative AI is funny, guys. You have to plead it a little bit, right? So hopefully it works this time and the demo gods are on our side. There we go. Okay, it's a little shy sometimes, guys, but it did it, okay? It's telling us the objective, it's giving us an understanding on the RFP, and what should our approach be, and how should we go ahead, and it's giving a very detailed response, right? So you have intelligence on top of your documents, and you can do so much with it. Quickly, because we are short on time, is M for finance. I told you it was a domain-adapted model created for finance professionals. Your finance departments can use it. It's not like ChatGPT. I mean, it is very, very well trained on lots of financial data, on years of cases in GST, ITR. It's trained on all the CA course and CA Act, so it's a very specific model that does great financial analysis. So we have a question, hit enter, where it says that, you know, I have a company in the finance sector in India and I'm looking to expand the organization to Australia. What are the rules and laws that apply to me? And please also give me some other similar cases to set some precedents. So it can do this because it has access to so much data from the background that we have trained it on, right? So as you can see now, it is generating the response, and it is telling us what is the regulatory framework that governs an Indian finance sector company expanding to Australia specifically, because it's been trained on all of that data. Two, it's telling us what are the key judicial precedents that illustrate how above provisions are applied. Because we've taken all of these precedences and actually trained on all of that, right? So it gives you very structured, very detailed answers. So we have used M as a central agentic platform and extrapolated that to all of these use cases which you should come and experience at our booth. You should be proud. This is born in India, and very, very powerful agentic AI available sovereignly. And thank you so much for all of your time. Thank you.